Behind the scenes flow, original plot multiple, smile more with memes, ensure to awaken your DNA. Lin Feng's soul pierced through Marvel and unexpectedly obtained the JOJO role-playing system. From then on, a mysterious organization of double messengers emerged in the world, led by a terrifying creature that no one had ever seen before. Loki, you have to be optimistic about yourself. Who are you? Ow. You dare to go against him? Dior. I'll just say 2 words. You, come to New York, I'm waiting for you. This one is even more heavyweight, battle assistance. And the Supreme Master Guy, you and the Strange seem like some kind of basket. Remember, you two are the higher brothers, the Shook and Beta, the younger brother among the brothers. The time gem doesn't have a card face with me, so when I touch the Iraqi manor, there's no good juice to eat. Mia ba, you must be sail fine. Remember what I said, I'll scold you on New York Street and flip and kick him to death after coming to Platinum Star. Oiler, let's go. Forget it. New York is waiting for you. Ow. Introduction is weak, please refer to the main text. Chapter 1. Soul-piercing Marvel, starting to play. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. I'm C. Lin Feng had just opened his eyes when a motorcycle rushed towards him. A dodge is worth avoiding. Run quickly, brother, didn't you see the back? A black guy on the motorcycle shouted to Lin Feng with a frightened expression on his face. Lin Feng is not sure, so, bang bang. 2 gunshots rang out, and a huge strong man sat in a car, exuding a domineering aura, firing his gun into the sky, wearing a white suit, a black tie, standing over 2 meters tall, and a head without hair. Solve all the people we see, and we cannot let our trading content spread. Our trading content this time is the largest in recent years, and we must not leak any rumors. At first glance, Lin Feng saw that this person was undoubtedly Jin He, the local leader of New York, who controlled 70% of the city's evil forces. Jin shouted loudly, ignoring the 2 of them at all. His gaze came over as if he were looking at 2 deceased people. The black guy happened to pass by and witnessed the huge trade between Jin and other forces, and was about to be killed and silenced. Unfortunately, Lin Feng also became the target of Jin He just when Lin Feng was in despair. Ding, sensing that the host is in danger of life. Congratulations on integrating the JOJO play system. Distribute beginner gift package. 2 times the number of character draws *2 inch, does the host perform extraction. The golden finger has appeared. There was no intention of studying the golden finger, after all, the dark muzzle was about to hit his face. Lin Feng quickly said, draw the character. Lin Feng's golden light flickers in his hand, consuming both chances of drawing. Congratulations to the host for obtaining. Permanent character Joseph Josda. Permanent character Dongfang Zhanzhu. 2 cards appeared in Lin Feng's hand, each with portraits of Joseph and Zhanzhu printed on them. Without time to think, Lin Feng casually took one and said, System, start playing. The bullet was within reach, and suddenly, do. Lin Feng looked back and saw a person wearing a blue helmet, blue armor, and a lewd heart pattern on his chin. Flying bullets, Crazy Diamond. Lin Feng shouted out his name. So. Lin Feng touched his hair. Sure enough, the shape of cow dung is undoubtedly the Eastern support. The system prompts, the character played by the host has the same abilities and appearance as the original character. Lin Feng asked with suspicion, how do we get the number of times? The closer the host's portrayal of the character is to the character itself, or the completion of certain major events experienced by the character, the more progress can be increased. Reaching 25%, 75%, and 100% can all provide a chance to draw. Lin Feng blocked Jin He's shooting, but the black guy next to him didn't have that much luck. At this point, we need to use another ability. Didn't you hit me? Jin looked at the pistol and hesitated for a moment. Well, it doesn't matter, it's just an ordinary person. Just drive over and run over it. Directly urged the driver to make a full charge anyway. As long as you see something you shouldn't see, you should use your life to repay it. The front of the car is within reach, Crazy Diamond. Dula la 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 la. Crazy Diamond rushed forward with a combo, but as an ordinary person, Jean couldn't even see the existence of a double in just a few breaths. The black sedan was forcefully overturned under the attack of Crazy Diamond. The driver collapsed in a pool of blood, probably dead. Jean rolled awkwardly to the side, with startling wounds visible everywhere on his back. What power is this? Jean stood up awkwardly, feeling even more that the young man in front of him was not simple. Lin Feng is clear that if we only talk about hand-to-hand combat ability, Crazy Diamond Power A and Jean can completely compete, and Jean cannot see a substitute yet. A stunt double can only be seen by a stunt double messenger who has a stunt double. Without a stunt double, one cannot see someone else's stunt double. Fix. For the sake of reminding oneself while the young man is running for his life, please help him. Crazy Diamond pressed his hand on the injured part of the black guy, and the wound immediately healed at a visible speed to the naked eye. The ability of Crazy Diamond is not only limited to hand-to-hand combat, but also to repair. It can not only repair creatures, but also damaged items. But if it is a creature, it must be rescued before the soul has dissipated. If the soul has already dispersed, any attempt to repair it will be futile. For example, when saving Grandpa and Itai, they were both not saved because their souls had already disappeared. Although Itai's soul was inexplicably saved by Xingzhao. Jean, since you appear in front of me, I'll have to show you the progress. It seems like he's a weirdo again, but I've seen so many weirdos before. Jean Wan became furious, and his suit was stretched open by his strong muscles. Dula. A heavy punch from Crazy Diamond struck directly at the Golden Gate. Cough. Jean was not at all prepared, and blood spurted out of his mouth before he could react. Crazy Diamond circled around Gold and behind him. The ground beneath Jean Bing suddenly shattered. Fix. The damaged ground converges towards the damaged area, and the gold is located in the center of the damaged area. The stones surged onto Jean Yong's body. Angelo Stone modified gold and stone production completed. Chapter 2. Exploration Progress, Joseph Josda. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. After sealing Jean He in a stone, Lin Feng went on a long journey. After all, his strength was still too weak, and if he were to eliminate them all, he would inevitably be relentlessly pursued by Jean He's subordinates regardless of the consequences. And if Jean is still there, then it is still within a controllable range. After all, Jean is still a relatively rational person stepping out of the remote alleys and strolling through the streets. Lin Feng opened the system. Dongfang Zhanju's playing progress has reached 20%, and there is still 5% left to draw again. What does Dongfang Zhanju usually do? Lin Feng carefully recalled, as if he had encountered some special events, otherwise there would have been no way to quickly update the progress because Zhanju's personality is relatively easygoing and honest, and he doesn't have any other hobbies, such as chatting up people and playing around. At this moment, a person collided with Lin Feng, who was focused on checking the system. Seeing that Zhanju looked Asian, the person in front of him immediately shouted, "Don't you have eyes? If you dirty my suit, you should compensate." Lin Feng secretly said something was wrong and rushed forward to apologize. It should be like this long ago, you cow dung head. The opportunity has come. Lin Feng exclaimed with joy, which is also a way to increase progress. He immediately imitated Zhanju's tone and said, "You just said what's wrong with my head." "Shit, I just said you cow dung." Dula la 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 la. Those who have offended the scales of Zhanju are few who can escape unscathed without any embellishments on their bodies. Except for some invincible man. After beating the man up, he repaired it and threw it into the trash can. You're all relaxed. Lin Feng opened the panel and had another chance to draw extract. Lin Feng muttered to himself, "You must be the villain. You must be the villain." Because if all the characters are upright, the plot will progress very slowly, resulting in a slow growth rate of the acting progress. Once the growth rate slows down, there will be no hard power to establish oneself in this dangerous Marvel world. Not only the pursuit of Kim Jong-un, but also the New York War, the Awaken plan, and the annihilation of dominance. What if I become a lucky audience and get caught up in it? So, enhancing strength is currently Lin Feng's main goal. The extraction is complete. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the role of the character. Ordinary office worker. Yoshitaka Yashikage. Beautiful. Now I'll roughly piece together a pair of opposing relationships. System prompt. Unlock the third character and activate the point redemption function. Lin Feng entered the points redemption page, and a dazzling array of products immediately piled up in front of him. System, first filter out the items I can buy now. Currently, Lin Feng only has 1,200 points, defeating Jean and earning 200 points. He also earned 1,000 points by playing the third character. The system quickly completed the screening, removing some useless items, and only 3 items were placed in front of Lin Feng. 1. Stand-up strengthening potion, small, can slightly enhance one attribute of a substitute. There are 6 attributes of stunt doubles. Destructive power, speed, endurance, precision of movement, range and distance, and growth, rated from A to E. Crazy Diamond has excellent strength and speed attributes, but its weakness lies in its range. Jiro Yashikage substitute. Assassin Queen, Phase 1, the ability is to turn the touched object into a bomb and detonate it. Very destructive, surpassing Crazy Diamond's, but requires early deployment. The weakness is the range, only D, because the first stage Assassin Queen can only arrange bombs up close. Next is the second one too. Double arrow, low level, a person who hits an arrow can have the ability to obtain a double, and after experiencing spiritual training, they can survive to have a double because it is low. Level, the success rate is extremely low. 3. Play the role of a tool person. When the host plays a role, summon a tool person to play other roles and assist the host in playing the role. After playing the role of a tool person, their personality will completely transform into a character's personality, but they will always obey the host's orders. After careful consideration, Lin Feng spent 1,000 points to exchange for playing as a tool person. Give it a try first. Lin Feng snapped his fingers and summoned a tool man. At first, the tool man had no subjective consciousness, so Lin Feng stuffed Joseph's playing card into him. Yo. First time meeting, my surname is Josda, Joseph Josda. You can call me JOJO, both jaws sound, Joe. What did Lin Feng just want to say? Your next sentence is. This prop is a cow batch. This prop is a cow batch. Lin Feng was suddenly surprised and said, is this also in your calculation, JOJO? Chapter 3. Is just an ordinary office worker. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After testing the ability, Lin Feng retrieved the tool man. If you want to improve your strength now, you can only start by scrolling through the progress of Jiuyang Jiaying. Lin Feng played the role of Yoshitaka. Yoshitaka, dressed in a blue work uniform, neatly tied in a tie, with clean and beautiful blonde hair swaying in the wind, and carrying an ordinary office worker's briefcase in his hand. But it's hard to say what's inside the briefcase, and Lin Feng dare not go and look if you don't look at the contents of the briefcase. Yoshitaka Yashikage is a vivid and positive character image, but he suffers from an extreme hand fetish, and when he saw Mona Lisa's hand, he became uncontrollable, often hunting hands in subway stations or small streets and alleys, becoming a serial killer hidden in the town. According to Jiuyang's habit, go to the subway station first. Lin Feng started his journey to the subway station and began to fully play the role of Yoshitaka Yashikage. Subway stations. Kacha, Kacha. Lin Feng cut his fingernails and sat quietly in the subway, imitating the image of Jiuyang Jiaying. At this moment, as the rush hour for work was approaching, countless commuters in New York took the subway. During this period, there were also some idle thugs wandering on the subway, stealing money. Hahaha. Look at this man, he actually uses this kind of nail clipper. Hahaha. A little thug pulled his companions towards Lin Feng, because Yoshitaka Yoshihida's nail clippers were very feminine, and the pink and tender colors made the little thug mock him recklessly. Lin Feng glanced at the little thug, didn't say a word, and continued cutting his nails. Hey, don't you take us seriously. The little thug was ignored for the first time, and at least he was the #1 little brother of the subway boss. There are over 100 subordinates scattered all over the subway line, so people on the subway would rather be stolen than offend these people, otherwise a slight mistake could easily lead to a move. "Didn't you hear me talking to you?" The little thug was furious and kicked at such an arrogant person for the first time suddenly. Feet stopped in the air. The little thug exerted all his strength and pulled his foot out of something invisible. Wow, this is really evil. Today is his good luck, let's go. The little thug led his people to other workshops. Lin Feng smiled at the corner of his mouth and his nails grew wildly crazy. Nail growth is a direct manifestation of Yoshitaka's impulse to kill, which is why Yoshitaka carries a nail clipper with her. Half a minute later, Lin Feng raised his thumb and pressed it against his hand, making a switch action. Bang. A violent explosion occurred, and the little thug exploded without warning. However, the people around him did not notice it, and a living person disappeared into the corner like this. This is the power of the assassin queen, the silent bomb. After speaking, Lin Feng detonated a bomb again when he got off the subway. This time, along with the carriage where the accomplice of the young thug was located. A violent explosion occurred directly. However, as expected, there was still a sound explosion that gave the most sensation. Just now, when the little thug was attacking with his legs, he was actually blocked by the killer queen. He then used his stunt double ability to convert the first bomb into a bomb and manually detonated it. The first bomb can be used in two ways. The first one is a regular bomb, which can be seen by ordinary people and can also be affected. Refer to the paragraph about Yoshitaka bombing couples. Another thing is the silent bomb. Ordinary people cannot see the explosion process of the bomb, nor can they see the scars left by the silent bomb on the human body. Refer to the scene of Yoshitaka bombing, eliminating harm for the people. Lin Feng left the subway station, and his acting progress increased to 10%. Ding. Behavior that does not match the character's personality has been detected, and the progress of this play will be deducted. Surprisingly, it would still be deducted. Yes, if Yoshihiro Yoshikage were to do such a high-profile thing, I might have been a bit reckless. But at this point, we can only do some more things, the bigger the better, until we catch the attention of the Divine Shield Bureau. Soy egg came to Lin Feng's mind. Cough. Nick Fury's face. Before that, let's continue to complete what Yoshitaka has done. Lin Feng searched for a Guayu department store, chain store in New York and joined it as a probationary employee. Tomorrow's New York will be ablaze with flames. Lin Feng drank a glass of milk before 11 o'clock, did some stretching exercises, and went to bed on time. Enter a baby-like sleep and never leave fatigue and anxiety until the next day. This is also the standard of living for an ordinary office worker. Until now, I will continue to live peacefully. Chapter 4. Self-Introduction of Yoshitaka. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Early in the morning, it was a long-lost weekend. Currently, Lin Feng is still in his own image, playing the role of Jiuyang Jiang and setting off to prepare for trouble. The serious incident at the subway station yesterday has attracted the attention of multiple forces. Through investigation and monitoring, it is easy to discover. This explosion incident is closely related to Lin Feng, who has shown his superpowers and has a grudge against the deceased, that is, Yoshitaka Yoshikage. Lin Feng wandered on the street, and soon after noon, he walked into a fast food restaurant and leisurely ate bread. After eating and drinking, a group of uniformed personnel found Lin Feng with handcuffs and guns on hand. Hello sir, yesterday's subway explosion incident, we suspect it has something to do with you. Please cooperate with our work and take a trip. Lin Fengxin said, if it's exposed so quickly, let's take a trip and do something big. The current goal is to cause panic and attention without revealing our identity. This is also the peaceful life pursued by Yoshitaka Yoshikage. Quickly, in the blink of an eye, he arrived at the place where Lin Feng was handcuffed and watched by 3 people as he entered the room. Name, occupation, family and friends relationships, recent action trajectory, let's talk about it. The uniformed personnel in front of them are holding notebooks and pens, preparing to take notes. Lin Feng spoke slowly. My name is Yoshitaka, 33 years old. I live in the villa area of northeast Manhattan and am unmarried. I work at Guayu chain department store and have to work overtime until 8 p.m. every day to go home. I don't smoke, and the wine is only for a light taste. Go to bed at 11 p.m. and get 8 hours of sleep every day. Before going to bed, I always drink a glass of warm milk, do 20 minutes of stretching exercises, get into bed, and immediately fall asleep. At dawn, like a baby, never leave fatigue and stress until the next day. The doctors say I'm normal. What? The uniformed officer looked bewildered. There's no need to say these things, right? Besides, your speaking speed is too fast. I haven't taken it down yet. All right, sir, I said it in detail enough. Lin Feng fixed his gaze on the man in front of him, firmly grasping the rhythm in his own hands. The uniformed personnel have never seen such a person before, and it makes them feel a little uneasy inside, but there is no evidence to directly identify him as the culprit of yesterday's incident, so we had no choice but to release Lin Feng. Half a day later, Lin Feng was ready to continue his actions, and the subway nail clipper turned the tables. His unremarkable self-introduction had increased to 20% of his acting progress. We still need one iconic event to draw again, and Lin Feng has not been waiting for nothing in the past few days. It is now Marvel World 2012, and there are still 2 months left for the New York War. Before that, we must strive to improve our strength as much as possible to confront the armies of Loki and Zittery. Lin Feng never considered himself a compassionate person, but he firmly believed that there must be sacrifice in order to succeed. This is also a knife part that every JoJo has in order to achieve the goal of preventing widespread death and injury in New York, preserving Sokovia from destruction, and saving half of the lives cleared from the entire universe. Sacrifices must be made, which is unavoidable, but Lin Feng also has conscience, and usually only targets those who are unscrupulous, causing harm to society without any benefit. I witnessed a woman in the bar who was drunk and committed theft. She was tricked into a deserted corner and a local silent explosion was carried out in an instant. The woman's body was left with only one hand. Lin Feng imitated the infatuation of Yoshitaka's hand and successfully increased Yoshitaka's playing progress to 30%. System extracts role. Playing. Lin Feng's hand once again shines with golden light. Congratulations on obtaining the roles of Savior of the Evil and Commander of the Evil, Diabrando. Sleeping slot. Lin Feng couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. After all, Dior is a super popular villain in the JoJo series, with unique charm and the stopping ability of the substitute world, always at the top of the popularity chart. Lin Feng immediately summoned a tool man and played the role of Dior. Roar. My Dior has finally come out. Humph, tiny humans like ants. I'm here to rule over you. Lin Feng smacked his lips and said, sure, this is very disappointing. Chapter 5. Tony's Action. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Having retrieved the tool man, Lin Feng pondered the next path with Dior. One can develop evil forces in the dark, and with Dior's personality charm, one can quickly form a team that is no less than the Golden Union. So far, the identity of Yoshiteru has not been leaked. Yesterday, the uniformed personnel who interrogated him were disguised as accident victims by the assassin queen while carrying out anti-terrorism missions. As long as the identity is not leaked, the progress of Jiliang Jiaying will continue to grow. Looking into the future, the storyline of Air Qiao is temporarily unavailable, and Zhan Zhu should take action when Jiliang Jiaying has already been noticed, and since Dior cannot operate under the sun, vampire, he is temporarily not needed in some large-scale battles, so he can focus on developing his power. In addition, according to insider information, Kim Jong-un's organization is gathering strength, and almost all members of New York City are gathering, presumably to prepare a conspiracy. In addition, superheroes are also starting to get in touch, such as Iron Man. Tony Stark. Why did you choose him? Nonsense. He has money. In this society, it is difficult to move forward without money, and we must first establish a source of income. At this time, Iron Man was full of glory, appearing as a superhero in Marvel Universe since 2008. The Thor incident has just ended, the US team has awakened, and the Divine Shield Bureau is also secretly researching the cosmic Rubik's Cube, and the Rubik's Cube of the universe was the trigger for the New York War of Reunion. Now it seems that they are sending out tool men to play the role of Dior's development force, while Lin Feng himself plays the role of Yoshitaka Yoshikage and continues to cause trouble. A month has passed without any major events happening again, so the progress has not increased too quickly. Dior's progress can be as high as 30%, Yoshikage's progress is only 35%, and the progress of the battle assistants is still maintained at 25%. Joseph, because he has not been played by Lin Feng, is still 0% to this day. And this month, there have been many things going on, with Lin Feng playing the role of Yoshiteru and killing 7 or 8 beautiful women in a row. In theory, the ability of the Assassin Queen cannot be discovered by the police, but after all, Lin Feng has no experience in doing such things before. The hands left behind were not dealt with in a timely manner, and the traces of blood droplets on the floor were not cleaned overall. I haven't learned the essence of Jiuyang finding a girlfriend yet. Using the same modus operandi, the police immediately realized that it was the same person committing the crime. Dior's power only operates at night, and the current team has developed to over 600 people. Although it is still not impressive compared to Jin's power, Dior's own hard power has successfully led the team to launch surprise attacks on Jin multiple times, consuming His strength, causing his vitality to be greatly damaged, and indirectly protecting Lin Feng himself. And the members of Dior's subordinates scattered near the Stark building reported this situation to Dior. Black-clad agents frequently enter and exit the Stark building, mostly at night, and Tony has also changed his secretary. The photo was secretly taken and given to Dior. Lin Feng also knew all of this. Tony's new secretary was actually Natasha, a special agent of the Divine Shield Bureau, to investigate whether Tony had the ability and character to enter the Avengers. And Tony himself has also been very distressed lately, as the serial killer who was commissioned by the police to search for has not been traced. At night, Stark Tower, oh my god. What kind of high-intelligence criminal is he this time? That guy was too careful in his actions, leaving almost no clues, and the deceased didn't leave either, except for the hands found at the scene or in the nearby bushes. However, under the inspection of the room by the police's high-tech equipment, tiny traces of explosion were still found. Natasha reminded on the side. Strangely enough, although there are extremely small explosion marks, the explosions always make a sound. But the neighbors around say they haven't noticed anything. Moreover, the surrounding surveillance cameras always experience sudden signal interruptions before committing the crime, and during the scene, it was also discovered that there were bizarre missing areas where cameras should have been present. Preliminary suspicion is that the perpetrator destroyed the camera before committing the crime, but there is really some incredible way to solve the problem without making a sound in an instant. Explosion. Last month's subway explosion and the silent disappearance of people were both sensational, weren't they? It feels like there's a connection. So you can go find the personnel investigating this matter. I remember he seemed to have interrogated a group of suspects. Money is not a problem, as long as he gets a clue, Tony said as he took out a handful of banknotes and placed them on the table. I just went to investigate, and the relevant personnel were suddenly affected by an explosion during a counter-terrorism operation in the city, leaving no good place on their bodies. Natasha explained helplessly. Later, due to the fact that this incident occurred in a bustling city and political factors, the investigation did not make effective progress, and the clues were thus cut off. Wait. Tony discovered something. This police officer is investigating an explosion case, but he also died in the explosion. Is there nothing suspicious about that? Isn't it normal for terrorists to have grenades as explosive weapons? In addition, the silent disappearance case is only a verbal transmission, and the evidence has been completely destroyed in the explosion. Natasha thought of the nearby security and said without hesitation, well. Based on my intuition, these two things must be related. Tony's playboy personality made him determined to investigate, put on his steel armor, and set off. Natasha was speechless. Is this the candidate highly valued by the director? It's just a blind and confident arrogant person. After Iron Man left, Dior went alone to the Stark building based on intelligence. Chapter 6. Invader Dior. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. After Tony left, Dior quietly approached the Stark building. It's just a virtual security program. The strict security measures in the Stark building make people's scalp tingle just by looking at them, truly preventing even a mosquito from entering the world. Stop time. Dior shouted and activated the ability of the substitute, world. Stop time. The duration is 9 seconds from the end of the third part, so, during the stopping time, Dior safely entered the interior of the building. Don't move. Natasha held a pistol and stared cautiously at the man in front of her. Person. What are you? What are you doing sneaking in the middle of the night? Natasha pressed her step by step, her pistol ready to pull the trigger at any moment. Wow, even the tiny humans are trying to harm me. Dios remained calm and picked up the red wine on the table, pouring a glass of it on her own. Bang. Natasha shot into Dior's thigh. He drew a dagger from his waist again, threw it towards Dior's other leg, and stabbed it straight in. Playing a flying knife in front of me, Dior, is really beyond measure. Dior said to himself, so you won't have the ability to take action, be honest. Natasha slowly walked towards Dior. You wouldn't think you could really hurt me, would you? Dior strode forward, raised the sofa beside him, and threw it over. Natasha quickly dodged to the side. This guy's wounds just now have all healed. Even the bullet has been discharged. Natasha seemed to have seen a ghost, but what she didn't know was whether the person in front of her was indeed a ghost or a vampire. Delta. It's almost time, stop fussing. Dior summoned out the world. Big wood, big wood, big wood. Big wood equals useless. The whole room was quickly taken down by Dior's rapid attack, and there was no hiding place left. Natasha tumbled out from behind the TV cabinet, her pistol wildly shooting Dior, and soon her body was covered in bullet holes. But the body of a vampire is completely fearless of gunfire. When Dior first arrived, he casually found a few people to suck up all the blood, claiming to be eating a little bread. Natasha fell to the ground in despair, and the pressure of Dior as the evil emperor spread completely. The terrifying pressure filled the entire room, and Natasha couldn't even commit suicide. Flat pants. Flat pants. Poor and weak, Dior laughed heartily and knocked out Natasha with a knife. Boom. A missile flew over. Dior couldn't dodge and was blown out directly, flying down from a height of over 20 layers. Buga. Dior's flesh and blood were blurred from the explosion, but he recovered in just a few seconds. As long as he didn't destroy his head with a single blow, the vampire's self-healing ability was almost unbeatable. Dior looked towards the source of the attack, a black smudge standing proudly in the air. Supervision. Dior unleashes his vampire ability, allowing clear visibility of objects up to 100 meters away. Wearing a black steel armor and carrying a black Gatling on his back, he is undoubtedly Tony's friend War Machine. Rod. After Dior saw the incoming person clearly, his legs landed on the ground, and in an instant, his legs shattered directly, with flesh crumbs all over his abdomen. However, he quickly recovered and Dior casually found a few small breads to replenish his energy, preparing for the upcoming battle. Boom boom. After a series of attacks, Dior was able to dodge, but soon realized that he had no means of targeting the air and could only avoid Rod's attack. Rod is not foolish either. Dior can still bounce around after falling from over 20 levels, and the cliffs are like non-human superpowers like Hulk the Hulk or Thor the Thor. Superpowers are wrong, but non-humans are indeed. Ahem. Rod's missile was depleted, and he lowered his flying altitude and began to use machine guns for strafing this distance. Smash Waldo. The Woolard. Stop time. Time came to a standstill again, and Dior took out his flying knife, which he carried with him, and used the attributes of World Power A to encircle Rod for 3 whole layers. Time begins to flow. Ding ding dang. The flying knife struck the armor of the War Machine, but could not penetrate the armor and could only cause minor damage. Shwete. What happened? Rod's face was bewildered, and a pile of flying knives suddenly appeared in front of him who was still in good condition. I understand now, the ability of this guy in front of me is to manipulate flying knives. Chapter 7. Rod's Defeat. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The flying knives were all blocked out, and Rod looked at Dior cautiously, while also paying attention to the surroundings, afraid of the flying knives appearing again. His armor is not as good as Tony's armor on the ground. Dior began to run towards Rod's feet. Rod unleashed maximum firepower, firing his machine gun and Gatling on his back, quickly turning Dior into a sieve, but in the blink of an eye, the wound on Dior's body healed again. This small caliber bullet has nothing to do with Dior, unless it is a missile that directly hits his head and completely destroys it. In order to truly kill Dior, otherwise, we can only engage in attrition battles, which consume Dior's stamina and slow down his recovery speed. Rod panicked. He found that all his weapons seemed to be helpless. But Dior won't give Rod a chance to catch his breath and jump onto the truck parked near the Stark building. First, he used his supervision to lock in Rod, and then used Dior as the vampire's most destructive skill, empty split eyes startle. Dior emits some of its own blood through the eyes, resembling a laser eye with strong destructive power. The disadvantage is that it is in a state of blindness when released. Rod wanted to escape, but his speed was no match for the air-splitting eyes that startled him. In an instant, he hit Rod and his steel armor on the back was pierced directly. Unequal. Rod's reaction, smash Voluto, stop time. Dior stopped the time again, took out the remaining knives and threw them towards the damaged area of the steel armor. Time begins to flow. Rod felt a sharp pain coming from his back and pulled out 3 flying knives from his back. Now we can confirm. This guy's ability is indeed to control flying knives, coupled with his strong ability to resist attacks, just like that chubby green guy. Rod's analysis ended and he found that all his bullets had been fired, and the Gatling on his back was too hot to use temporarily. We have to unleash maximum power and quickly escape. Dior didn't chase after him anymore. He went to the vault in the Stark building, broke the safe, and stole $2.5 million. In this way, the cost of weapons will be covered, but managing such a gang is really costly and laborious. If only Enya could help me manage it. However, Stark's wealth is at least 100 billion yuan. If he only takes 2.5 million yuan, he won't even be able to discover it. It's truly my Dior. Ha ha ha. Dior left immersed in his own intelligence, but had no idea of the extent of the damage he had caused to Tony building. The next morning, Tony received a contact from Rod. What? You said someone invaded the Stark Tower and defeated you. Tony's mouth was stuffed with an egg. He didn't believe that the proud security system and artificial intelligence Jarvis would be easily hacked. That's right, that's right. He knocked out Natasha and defeated me. From my observation, his ability is to control flying knives and have strong resistance to attacks. Rod, what's the situation with these explosive holes in my building? How did my reception hall get blown up with such a big gap? This one is the intruder who carried explosives and wanted to destroy your building. Fortunately, I discovered it in time. Tony looked helplessly at the damaged Stark building and had to find someone to repair it casually, while also spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on anti-missile and explosion-proof systems. On the other hand, Nick Fry also received news of the war machine, and after inquiring about Dior's abilities, he had the idea of recruiting. Isn't that right, Director? We're recruiting such a terrorist. According to intelligence, he's currently a leader of a gang, killing people like wildfire. Shouldn't this terrorist be eliminated as soon as possible? You don't understand, Coulson. We recruited Dr. Banner, who had undergone gamma radiation mutations, for what? You know, the green giant after Banner transformed has harmed countless lives. However, in the hammer incident, Thor 1, I understood that besides Earth, there are even more mysterious and powerful forces in the universe, and we must organize a team to fight against them. So Dior Brando, this person, we must recruit him. It's best to have him join the Avengers directly. Nick Fury cuts the railway with his nails. Chapter 8. Crisis. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. During the tense discussion at the Divine Shield Bureau, the leisurely Lin Feng did not play a role and was eating at a fast food restaurant. Lin Feng gave most of the $2.5 million Dior received back, allowing him to continue developing his influence and leaving himself $200,000 to maintain daily expenses. Another boring day has passed, and Lin Feng is about to fall asleep. But the tool man playing Dior suddenly sends a danger warning. Tool people can exchange information with hosts. But low-level tool people can only achieve simple information exchange. Lin Feng transmitted his consciousness to the tool man and shared his vision with Dior to observe the surroundings. Just as he opened his eyes, he discovered an incredible scene. He is currently in a magnificent temple, with strange-shaped treasures displayed on the walls, and Dior was sitting on a chair, his hands and feet tightly tied, and the rope was unexpectedly strong. Even Dior's physical strength was difficult to break free from. Dior Brando, right? On the ancient staircase, a person walked down, dressed in a yellow wizard costume, with a slightly feminine appearance and a relatively thin and frail appearance. No hair, deep eyes, as if seeing through the world. This highly representative appearance immediately distinguishes him as the highest combat power on earth, the Supreme Master Gu Yi. Dior remained motionless, and Gu Yi spoke up first. Young man. You seem to have an incredible power on your body that has touched the power of rules. You guys, do you think you're very old? I, Dior, was born in 1860, 152 years old. Don't treat me like a child. Dior said disdainfully, as if he didn't even pay attention to Guy, only 152 years old. I thought vampires were all old monsters in their 50s or 60s, so you can really be considered a child. Gui smiled and said, Nanny. How dare you underestimate me so much, Dior? Dior glared angrily, his pride as the wicked emperor cannot be provoked. Smash Voluto, stop time. The substitute world responded, time came to a standstill, and the world punched out. Zinai. The iron fist of breaking the wind is about to strike Gui suddenly. Koichi gently raised his hand, and in an instant, a golden magic circle appeared in his hand, easily blocking Dior's attack. I have lived for almost 1,000 years, little one. Nanny. Impossible. How could you act during the time I stopped? Dior was shocked, and this surprise only occurred to Qingtaro, who was also able to act during the same stopping time. The eyes of the Ago motorcycle on Gai's chest opened, emitting a green glow. How could it be that the world's stunt doubles have failed? The stopping time abruptly came to an end, and Koichi cast a spell on his chest, unleashing the power of the Ago motorcycle. This time, Dior felt despair for the second time, and even more so than the first time he faced Qingtaro. Time has come to a standstill, but it is the eye of Koichi's Ago motorcycle, which is the function of the time gem. Moreover, this stopping time limit theoretically means that as long as Koichi still has mana, he can stop continuously an hour. 1 day. A month. Dior dared not gamble because if he made a mistake, he would end up risking his own life. Gui pulled Dior into the mirror space, and Lin Feng's consciousness also entered it. So let's put it, little child, how did you stop time without the assistance of the time gem? Also, what power is this? Why can't the naked eye observe it and can only perceive it with magic? Dior didn't speak, just stared at Koichi in anger. You can still remain silent. What happens in this mirrored space has no impact on reality, and I can stop here for a year. Gui lit up the eyes of the Ago motorcycle on his chest. 1 year. Dior was shocked. This was an ability he had never even thought of, and his world could only pause for 9 seconds, but the wizard in front of me can pause for a year, and it seems like there is still a lot of energy left. Their strength, as of now, is not in the same dimension. Dior had no choice but to speak. Chapter 9. Cost. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Dior said slowly, I was born in 1860 in England, where there was a family named Josda. My mother passed away a long time ago. It was my father who was lazy and overworked her to death. Later, my father also died, so I went to stay at Josda's house. Besides, my secret to stopping time is. Gu-yi closed his eyes and listened attentively. The secret is. Go to hell. You bald. Dior suddenly erupted, and the world's iron fist attacked Gu-yi, revealing a crazy smile on his face. It's impossible for Dior to obey you. Gu-yi instantly opened several spell shields: big wood, 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 big wood. Oh. Gu-yi was a bit surprised. Dior broke a dozen or so shields in a row, and his iron fist was pressing towards Gu-yi. Pang, bang. The iron fist pierced straight into Gu-yi's abdomen. All right. It's finally over. Dior breathed a sigh of relief and then began laughing wildly again. Is it over? Another Gu-yi walked down the stairs in an instant. Countless ancient ones appeared in the ceiling, cellar, corridor, and even teleportation doors. Nanny. Dior was confused. This is a clone spell, one of Kamataja's supreme spells. Gu-yi silently explained, since you don't want to say it, then I'm sorry. Ancient ones simultaneously unleashed magical attacks, with hundreds of attacks densely attacking Dior. Dior screamed in pain. No, impossible. My Dior. My Dior. Ding, I feel that the host's character is on the brink of death, and there is currently 2 options available for the host to choose from. Lin Feng obtained the right to play Dior and looked at the options. 1. Death. Stop, 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 stop. I choose 2, choose 2. The host has chosen the second option to send the host back to a safe place, but revoke novice protection. That is to say, the host's substitute can be seen when their own mental strength is weak or others' mental strength is strong. Effective immediately, novice protection disappears. If this situation occurs again in the future, the system will be powerless. In a daze, Dior's double world took shape and was instantly sent back to his house in New York, only leaving behind the thoughtful Gai mage in place. It scared me to death. Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. Although the stunt doubles can be seen by some strong players, at least they saved their lives. In the future, it's better not to use them randomly to avoid being discovered by Koichi again. Lin Feng had previously decided to keep one drawing opportunity, but now in order to quickly enhance his strength, he has started drawing. Congratulations to the host for obtaining. Poingo's good brother can transform into someone else's appearance. Waingo. The substitute god Num can transform into someone else's appearance as soon as he comes into contact with them. Eye contact is also considered. Overall it is a strong auxiliary role. Lin Feng played the role of Wyanch and transformed into Natasha's appearance. Can't say they are the same, at least they are perfect. Lin Feng was very satisfied with this. Jiliang Jiaying's actions are not of any importance, so he still needs to play the role of Dior and go there again. Lin Feng summoned a tool man to play the role of Wyanch and played Dior himself. Prepare to go to the Stark building again, and switch to the Crown Prince in a wave of civet cats. Let Waingo turn into Natasha around Tony, gather some intelligence or money, then infiltrate the Divine Shield Bureau, and finally participate in the pursuit of Loki. Are you saying this is stealing? Can the matter of a stunt double be called stealing? After waiting for a week, I received intelligence that Tony had left. Lin Feng played as Dior and once again arrived at the Stark building. Lin Feng did not stop through the security program during use. Directly called the tool man to play the role of Dongfang Zhanju, and Lin Feng punched the wall with a punch. The security procedures of Stark Tower require reaction time, including Jarvis, and multiple inspections and confirmations of the damaged location are required. After all, it's just the average level of security technology in 2012. Next, Lin Feng gave his consciousness to the tool man, and his consciousness returned to the tool man at home. Dior quickly rushed into the interior of the building. Battle assistance instantly keeps up with the recovery ability, and the walls are restored to their original state. The process was just in the blink of an eye, and even the surveillance cameras could only see a bright light and the suddenly appearing idol Cow Dung Head High School student successfully infiltrated. Chapter 10. Tony's Defeat. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Successfully entered the Stark building and quickly arrived at Tony's office. According to intelligence, Natasha often works there. The elevator arrived and Lin Feng summoned the world, shattering the door of the room. Suddenly, a steel arm flew out of the room, grabbed Dior's neck, and flew straight out of the building. Tony slowly sat up from the sofa. If I had known you would come, what flew out was just steel armor. Lin Feng secretly said. Fortunately, he played Dior. If Jiliang Jiaying had played, he probably wouldn't have had this fall. Tony reached out his hand and Iron War armor flew back, putting it on Tony's body. Now let me show you what Iron Man is. Empty crack eyes startle. Lin Feng launched an attack but Tony didn't panic. The high-energy laser condensed in her palm quickly shot out. Two beams of light clashed in the air, and Tony increased his energy consumption, quickly gaining the upper hand. The laser shot was completed, and Lin Feng's shoulder was pierced by the laser, but he quickly recovered and returned. This guy is indeed what Rod said. He has strong resistance to attacks and seems to be able to shoot lasers. He should have high-tech equipment, but his ability to control flying knives has not been fully developed yet. Lin Feng landed on the nearby roof, just in time for Tony to fall. With the force of the fall, he immediately jumped into the air. Although his lower limbs were shattered, he quickly rushed to Tony's face. For safety reasons, I didn't let the world appear, I just summoned the world's arm and hit it. Big wood, big wood, big wood. Big wood. Tony couldn't dodge and forced himself into a series of punches, causing his armor on his chest and face to deform everywhere he went. What's the situation with this guy? How come he's so strong? Tony increased his horsepower and flew over, with a missile launcher protruding from his shoulder. More than a dozen missiles tracked Lin Feng and hit him. Lin Feng is very uncomfortable. Dior doesn't have the ability to face the air, and now he can only be passively beaten. After more than a dozen missile bombings, Lin Feng's stamina was depleted and he used it all to recover his body. I urgently need a few small breads to recover my strength now, but looking around, there is not even a single person's shadow. After all, heroes fight and civilians suffer. Tony's energy and ammunition were running low, and he landed on the ground with a large circle of armor on his arm, starting melee mode. It's exactly what I want. Lin Feng rushed over and the arm of the world appeared. Muda. Tony blocked the punch and retaliated by punching Dior in the face. Just as he touched it, a laser beam condensed from his palm. Bang. Dior's half-face was directly shattered. It's close, almost. Lin Feng broke out in a cold sweat. Just now, if Tony's laser energy increased a little more, he would definitely be gone. Tony kept moving his hands, and the armor in his right hand began to jet from behind, increasing his attack power and punching through Lin Feng's body with another punch. Although it will recover, it still hurts. Lin Feng grabbed his hand that had not yet been retracted. Gasification freezing method. This move is also one of Dior's skills as a vampire, which can freeze enemies in contact with his body in an instant. Tony's armored right arm was frozen. Dior took advantage of the situation and hooked his right foot onto the left leg of the armor, freezing Tony's leg armor as well. What ability is this? Tony couldn't break free from the freeze no matter how much he increased his firepower because his armored engine was unable to work at low temperatures, and only the artificial intelligence Jarvis was still running. Tony had no choice but to send a message to the director of the Divine Shield Agency, Nick Fury, who he had no good feelings for. Stark Tower. The last monster appeared. Lin Feng took a deep breath and the world took shape. He unleashed his full power at the fastest speed, and his fist speed had already appeared in a phantom. Big wood, big wood, big wood, big wood. Tony was pressed to the ground and exploded with a hammer. The armor on his chest and abdomen had been completely deformed by the hammer, with gaps appearing. Lin Feng is still violently hitting Tony, throwing him into the air and continuing to hit him in a row. If it weren't for Dior's intention to withdraw, Tony might have died on the spot. Tony was knocked unconscious in the Iron War armor. Lin Feng carried him back and summoned 2 toolmen. He played the role of Cheng Zhanzhu to repair the Iron War armor, while the other played the role of Cheng Weiyingo, who became Tony and penetrated into the Iron War armor. The plan has changed, but the goal of entering the Divine Shield Bureau has also been achieved. Lin Feng quickly left here.